Here is more grammar. And grammar is sexy, I understand, but everything has to come to an end. So here, sooner or later. So here is a little demonstration of the technique. Again, this is only a tiny part of the app that you hopefully have taken a picture of already. It's called the Irregular Verbs Wizard. You can find it by Googling this. And you see, there's always, you will be introduced to this, but I try to do it fast. Yeah, so don't worry if this is a little bit too complex or I don't manage to bring it over that nicely. You see, there's always an image. And there's a cowboy, doesn't matter whether it's a cowboy, but the lasso is interesting. Because you see the lasso in the text here on the right is chosen as a keyword. The lasso has an A and an O as the key vowels. And these vowels help you to remember how the verb sprechen changes in the preteritum, that's the first vowel, and in the past participle, which is the second vowel. So sprechen in the preteritum turns into sprach. The A of the lasso reminds you of that. And don't worry about the ending of the preteritum. You only need to be able to recognize this. Yeah. And of course, then the O turns it into gesprochen. G-E and E-N is very easy because you know it's irregular. You have learned it with the app. You remember, oh, that was in the app, so it must be irregular, so it ends in E-N. But the O is something you cannot predict. You have to learn by heart, and the lasso helps you to do so. And why this hassle? Why going through this trouble? Well, it's difficult to remember E-A-O. You need a little, because it's abstract. It has nothing to put it, to attach it to. You have to make this tasty for your brain to remember. And a lasso is very easy to imagine. This imagery here on the left already does the job. You will not forget the lasso that is formed like a speech bubble, and you will not remember the fact that the cowboy is actually talking to his lasso. Maybe he's using it as his therapist. Who knows? Yeah? So working with images, but smart images, not just random images like you find in many vocab apps or Rosetta Stone, that's just random stuff. Smart images will burn this into your memory. And this is what you want. And smart images will also help you to recall them quickly. Yeah. So if I say sprechen tomorrow, you instantly will have the cowboy and the lasso, and you see lasso, oh, A-O, sprach, sproch, gesprochen. Very simple. You try this a little bit. Take your time, no rush. Yeah. Another example. So this guy is a polo player, and he has a very long nose. And you know who gets a long nose and why, right? Pinocchio. So very easy to remember. The polo player, polo is a sport they play somewhere. Not really popular in Germany, but I think in England. So they sit on horses and do stuff. They basically look a bit like this. So the polo player is lying. Der Polospieler lügt. By the way, the examples will all be translated. This is not a task to learn German or remember what lie means. All you have to remember is that when you come across the verb lie, to lie, not telling the truth, that there's a polo player involved. And the moment you learn the verb, the meaning of it, the German meaning of it, lügen, you know how to build the preteritum and the perfect. It's beautiful. And you can see how this works. And polo, I could have taken a word that only has an O, but I like the word polo. It's a nice word. So you see how this works. There's one more. Close your eyes for a moment. Hope you didn't see that. So the next word is wachsen. I will work on the presentation for the course, but you helped me to improve this. So wachsen. If you haven't seen it, what does it mean? And I give you the keyword for that. The keyword for wachsen is you as American. Also other Americans that are not from the US. So you as a American. U as A is important. We have a U and we have an A. These are the key vowels that we need. So how can you create the preteritum form and the past participle for wachsen? Can you try this? The U is for the preteritum change, and the A in USA is for the past participle. You can type it in the chat if you want. You can also do this in your head. I will show you the solution in a minute again. Yeah. Good. Enough time to think. So here you see how it goes. Wachse means to grow. I said that right. So this image here, you see there's an American, and you just put some water on top of his head, and then he grows. Yeah. Yeah. Michael almost got it. Cut the first S away. And you see here how it goes. The U turns, helps us to create the preteritum, the A, the other one. And the GEEN is just irregular. So this is how the app works. It will show you, it will not have 200 illustrations because that's not necessary. Because once you understand the technique, you can apply to any irregular verb that you need to learn. With the app, you can get a very good head start, but you do not need to now sit down and learn a list of irregular verbs. Learn them as they come, soon enough. You learn best the moment you work with relevant material and if there's some urgency. So if there's a text you actually would love to read and understand, that's urgent and it's relevant because you want to understand. Yeah. So get started with the app, play with it a whole weekend, enjoy it. It's fun. It's no harm done by knowing a couple of irregular verbs, but take them as they come, bit by bit. Dankeschön. Yeah. If you want more of this, of course, there is no past tense in the very first lesson, but in the very first lesson, I show you a couple of more neat mnemonics, but also a whole strategy to improve your German significantly. And most of you are already working with my course, so yeah, this might not be for you, but you may be able to share what your impression is of the course here as well. Yeah, feel free to do so. And if you want to support me and have already seen enough of my course, you can always do so by leaving, everyone who works with the app, leave a review in the app stores. That really, really helps. I use these as marketing, and that's why I give them away for free. But you would really, really support my work and the work of at least 9 other people that regularly work with me. And you can also leave a review for the Smarter German course. If you have trouble doing so, contact me. I'm happy to show you that. Now, that was the presentation. It was roughly 30 minutes, actually pretty good. And I will work on this and publish this in the course in a week's time. Until then, you can watch this version in the replay. If you have any questions that haven't been asked yet, please, and haven't been answered yet, just type them. I'm happy to respond. There's a couple of questions I've seen. Simon says or asks whether the preteritum is used more commonly in common speech in certain regions of Germany. Might be, might not be. Yes, but it doesn't matter. You can speak in the perfect tense all the time. People will always understand you and they will be fine. They will, if you hear ich war zu Hause 10 times, you will adapt to it. You're a learning machine. The more often you hear something in your surrounding, you want to adapt to your surrounding, you will adapt to that easily without effort. Yeah, and war and hatte, that's really easy to catch up. But what I do is I simplify things, but without taking away the quality of what you use. So yes, it depends on the region a little bit, depends a little bit on how people what education they have as well. Shivam asked whether the perfect form of werden is worden or ist geworden. That's a very good question. In 99% of the cases, you use worden, ist worden. And in the 1% of cases, when you become a father or a mother, you then use geworden. Imagine you become the mother or the father of a very gay child. Yeah, whatever form of gay you want to use. Doesn't matter. Then you're allowed to use geworden. Other than that, you use ist worden. Because werden is mainly used in 2 cases, and that is for the passive use, something has been stolen, and in the future use to make predictions or assumptions, actually, not really predictions. The future is another masterclass at one point. It's also very beautiful and simple. Yeah. The problem in the internet is that people just keep repeating things they read in grammar books, but they haven't put much thought in, are we really using stuff like this? And this is, I find, unnecessary unless you really enjoy learning grammar and want to become a grammatician, which very few of smarter German learners want to become. The question is there a past, is there a present participle, a Partizip 1? Yes, there is, and someone already answered. It's used as adjective in 99% of the cases. That's indeed right. The first participle, ironically, is the one least used. So, for example, and it's also very simple. All you do is put a D to the end of the infinitive. So singend, singing. Ging singend die Straße entlang. He was walking along the street singing. In that sense, it's very rarely used. You will come across it as an adjective. You just learn it as a vocabulary, as a vocab, as a word. Yeah, not as a participle. That will be stuff of C1, so you can ignore it. Yeah, Josaphat actually has a good example, lesend, but it's more an adjective. This we have answered. The form of perfect of werden is geworden. Worden is a form of conjunctive 2. Josaphat, unfortunately, that's not correct. Worden has nothing to do with conjunctive. Yeah, and the plusquamperfect also not. So, Konjunktiv 2, das wäre würde. Ja? Ich würde das nicht tun. Würde. Is the would kind of werden. Yeah? The base is always werden, but it has nothing to do with worden. This one I answered already. Yes, very nice. Okay. I want to join. I know some German. I would not like to start from 0. Veronica, just go to the A1 to B1 course. Go to the free first lesson, take a picture of this QR code. Your phone will recognize it. And see. You will not be bored, even though you already know some German. If you are already B2 level, then check out my B2 course. First lesson is available for free. See whether it suits you. I don't want you to pay any money if you don't like it. Yeah? Chaitanya asks, I'm still confused on how the perfect is not similar to present perfect. Present perfect in English is a pain in the ass, if I may say so, because it relies on you to know, is it still relevant in the present tense? The simple past is something that describes something that is finished in the past. And this is a problem for many Germans and any non-native English speakers. In German, you do not have to think. You don't have to be confused at all, Chaitanya. You simply only use habe gemacht, habe gesehen, habe gegessen. That's all you have to know. You don't have to understand anything. Whenever you talk about the past, anything that happened in the past, whether it's relevant or not for the present, you use perfect. I cannot say it more clearly. There's nothing to think about. Only thing you talk about the past, it is with help of the perfect. Yeah? Thank you, Samuel. Okay, very nice. If there's no more questions, I will improve this a little bit. I will add more to it. There is a couple of more tiny pieces that you will come across, but let me not overwhelm you completely. I will add that to the recording that will end up in the course, and you will also learn that already in the course. I just try to update the older videos and give a little review in a different manner. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like it, give me feedback. In the end of this webinar, you will be able to give me some stars. Yeah, any honest feedback is welcome. Don't be nice. Yeah, be honest. Germans like honesty. And again, if you want to support Smarter German and you already have experience and can recommend it, do so via Google. Google is my friend in this regard. Facebook if you must, and also rate the apps, please. The apps are really still underrated, even though they got good reviews. They are wonderful. Yeah, I love these apps, and lovely people have helped me creating them. Yeah, Ashta, I've seen your request, masterclass on passive. One day it will come. Yeah, it's also beautiful. The whole German grammar is just is delicious. Okay, have a lovely, lovely evening, and thank you for your time. And see you in the course, or maybe in one of my Q&As that I do regularly. The masterclasses I do every 2 weeks. Yeah. Thank you, Ahmed. Great work as usual, and take care. Stay healthy, all of you. Bye-bye.